wood chips though in the fall? Still?
If they need it.
Oh.
So if you go in there and start moving the chips aside and notice, or moving the plants aside, and you notice there aren't many chips, then yeah, this winter we might cover them with like an inch of wood chips, no more than an inch. It all depends how long it takes to break down. Anyway, so this is my garden, or one of my gardens. As we move through the property and go to the different gardens, you'll notice that the stuff I do is a little different than what Paul does. I do in a bio-intensive method, so my plants are really close together. They're in beds, and I also do transplants, or a lot more transplants compared to Paul. He likes to direct sow everything. The reason I do my transplants is because I'm trying to maximize production in a short season, and I guess another thing that's different is I grow for a CSA program, so I've got 20 families signed up, and every week they come out and pick a box, or I pick a box full of produce for each family, and that'll go through a 20-week season throughout the summer. Paul, for the last 41 years of being here, he's always grown just for his 7 kids, so he's never needed to really push the season as much as I am. So, yeah.
Did you move wood chips before you mounded?
So this garden and his garden up there, were covered with, I mean, this one was kind of like his trial garden in the beginning. Like, he's layered horse manure and sheep bedding and all kinds of stuff. And it's like a big, deep lasagna over here. And so when I got here 2 years ago, it was just compost, and that's basically what's over his garden. He's got sifted chips and stuff, but at this point it's basically compost. So when I designed this garden to have the beds, what I did was shoveled out maybe, I don't know, 2 to 3 inches deep to make my walkways, and just threw that compost right on top of the beds, and that allowed for better drainage, because this is at the bottom of a parking area. It's at a slope, and the water just kind of sits here in the spring. And last year I noticed there was a lot of problems with crops rotting because it didn't dry out enough. So having that elevated bed by shoveling it out and raising the ground a little bit helped a lot. And then I went and just put wood chips in the walkways, just because one, it looks good, and two, just one, it looks good. There's no real reason. They'll break down and produce more compost, and once they're a little more finished, I can flip them onto the bed to kind of shape everything up a little bit better each spring.
You don't need a top dress of wood chips.
No, I topped it off with compost. I like using compost or grass. Wood chips are great, but they're a whole lot more work when you're doing a bio-intensive method like I am. If you're planting like Paul does, a row every 2 feet, then it's easy because you can just rake your chips aside. But my carrots, there's 4 rows. My onions, there's 5 rows, all in a 30-inch bed, and raking chips aside to make that many rows in that small of a space is next to impossible. So yeah, no weeding problems. It's no dig, no till, whatever you want to call it. So when you put just an inch of compost down, your weeds are buried. In a beginning garden, like the ones out by the pond that I'll take you out to later, there is some weed problems just because it's the first year and you haven't had years of laying compost and organic matter to bury the seeds a little deeper. So.
You use chicken manure in here too?
I didn't put any down this year or last year, but the gardens out there, they have compost from Paul's chicken coop. But I put about 3 inches of compost on each of those gardens. But
you said these are transplants? You didn't do any direct seeding out here?
Carrots are direct sown. Well, at Mizuna I did as multi-sown plugs. So yeah, just the carrots right now are direct sown. Everything else went out as transplants.
Nice.
I had some really amazing garlic in that open section over there. The leaves were about 4 feet tall, but it just stays so wet here that garlic was starting to rot, so I got it all pulled. It's a little early for it, but it is what it is. But a month ago, this looked amazing. It looks good now, but it looked
wonderful,
incredible like a month ago. Everything was like perfect. Yeah, any questions? I'm like Paul. I do better with questions, so.
You've started a lot of transplants in your greenhouse.
Yep.
Is that where you're getting your transplants from, or did you go to a local source?
No, I grow all my own transplants. Yeah.
Okay.
it's not worth it to buy in
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah, I found that out too.
Yeah. So I'm big into the soil biology. So I have a biological seed starting mix recipe that basically every time I put a plant in the ground, it inoculates the ground with tons of different soil microbes and fungi and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So yeah. Yeah, I've got a YouTube video of my seed starting mix, and then I also do a biological compost tea, which is amazing. The results that the plants show after just one use are just, it's incredible. That's also on my YouTube channel. But yeah.
I like the stones.
Yeah,
Your
that's
markers.
just so I can stick a string and shape the bed when I need it. But any questions?
When did
Anybody?
you plant this particular patch?
So each thing is at a different time. So like the cabbages, I think they went in 2 months ago.
Do you date anything?
Yeah, I've got
Your little
I
tag?
keep track of everything. Like I've got a whole book that's literally like this thick of just everything I've ever planted in the last, I think that book alone is 3 years. But it's filling up quick. I get a lot of stuff planted. And that way I can always go back like next year, since this is a weird year. If the weather looks like this, next year I can look back at all the dates that I've planted. I've got the dates I start in the greenhouse and the date I transplant out. And then if I'm really feeling it, I'll do the dates that I get my first and last harvest from each crop. So
You have to go by the weather though, right?
to harvest or to
For
plant?
planting.
I don't. I go by my time. If I
When
have
it's
time,
ready.
I get it done.
Yeah.
If I don't, oh well.
Do you keep track of how many days a crop is supposed to take to mature? So cabbage is
I don't-
long. Do you
I
know
don't
when
keep
you're
track
gonna?
of it, but I have an idea. Like I know, like this cabbage should take probably around 75 days.
Okay.
So, but the weather's been so weird, so it's not.
Yeah, I'm seeing your
yeah.
bolting there.
Yeah. Well, that lettuce is 4 months old. All the lettuce you see in the
Wow.
garden, besides the Salanova, is 4 months old. So it's just now starting to bolt.
Wow.
I'm saving seed from that.
Excellent.
Uh,
Are you going to do seeds? Are you going to sell seeds, or are you saving all
I'm
your
not going to
seeds?
sell seeds. I'm just going to save
Save.
seed from the stuff I really like and does really good here. Because next year for CSA programs or stuff that's going to market and stuff, I want stuff that's going to thrive in this condition.
Right.
So
Yeah. Beautiful Swiss
Yeah.
chard.
How come there's pink flowers in the strawberries?
if anybody knows the name of that plant, that's right. Yeah, that's what that is.
It is.
But yeah,
Just for the beauty.
yeah,
Pollinators.
yeah. Adds a little color.
Are you still picking Mizuna?
Not
Now
from
that
that.
it's gone to flower?
That I planted a bunch in the orchard, and I got all that harvested, and I didn't even get time to harvest this because there's just so much that.
What is that?
Mizuna, it's an
Can you
Asian
taste the
green.
flower?
Flowers are extremely sweet, so go for it. Eat as much as you can. 'Cause once these seed pods start swelling, it's coming out.
Yeah.
But until then, the bees are getting it. That's why I'm leaving
Do they eat the leaves too?
You don't have
I thought Mizuna was
it. Nothing's there. There's a little row of parsley right next to that row of wood
All
chips,
that.
but all that's
Good.
empty.
Very sweet. Mm-hmm.
But
Good. Oh, that's good. Try, but
yeah, I love this
So
stuff.
give me the whole thing.
I know, bees
Good.
love it.
Yeah.
But,
Lots of doggies.
yep, those are multi-zone beets.
You're gonna keep going.
So, as soon as I harvest something, I just haven't had time to fill this up. Normally, like, as soon as a plant comes up, a transplant goes in. So, that really maximizes production in a short season. But I've just been so busy, I haven't kept up on it.
Is this Bocking compost?
Yeah, that's Bocking 14. I think there's 20, maybe 26 varieties of Bocking
Wanna taste
comfrey.
it?
And this one's 14?
That's
Why
Bocking
did you
14.
choose 14?
Bocking 14 is great for building soil. It's a biodynamic accumulator, so it pulls up minerals that no other plant can tap into and brings them to the surface. I can get 7 cuttings from that variety a year, and then it's amazing for livestock fodder. And then, like I said, the compost. You can make compost teas and stuff with it. But if you want a more medicinal comfrey, get Bocking 4. That's the highest in medicinal value and extremely potent. But
What kind of soil it is?
this is just compost.
Oh, this is all
It's
compost.
compost on top of the native soil.
Oh,
It's, I
okay.
mean, this garden is 40 years of compost being layered about an inch or two every other year.
Oh, it's a layer on top of layer.
Yep, just keep layering it. Never dig it in.
So you don't water at all, huh?
I water when the plants need it.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't hurt to water,
Mhm.
but it can hurt to overwater.
So how do you water? I notice you have a sprinkler right here in the middle.
Yeah, so I'll just
Mm-hmm.
soak the beds until if
So-
they start drying out, I'll just soak them real
Okay.
good, and then that'll be it for however long until the plants show signs again. One big thing that people always screw up when it comes to gardening is they'll like direct sow their plants or put their transplants in, and then they water it every night when they get home from work or something. And that's basically like I always use this example, but whatever. Like it's like relying on the government. If you're constantly getting support and help, then you're never going to get out and do your own thing and like put your roots in the ground and take care of yourself. So when I'm constantly watering these plants, they're not sending roots deeper and deeper into the soil to search for what they need to survive on their own. And so yeah, that's that. Anything else? No?
You never till the soil.
Never till the soil. Tilling is killing. Yep.
Real good nutrients.
Like basically to create grow compost and put it down.
Yeah,
there.
I'm more of a soil farmer than I am a plant farmer because I take care of the soil and the soil will take care of the plant. And if you look at it that way, you'll always have thriving plants. There's no way around it. So, Paul's over here, so we can head over to him now.